I started off actually as a waitress.
Uh-huh.
And I pushed myself. I stayed hungry, to be honest. I would view myself as I don't like to settle, and I feel like I'm quite ambitious sometimes. So I moved from being a waitress to being a barista, and then I actually started enjoying training, so which I've done for many years. And now I have moved to a different role. So now I handle customer service. So I'm the customer service experience manager at Raw.
If you're starting or growing your business in these volatile times in coffee and you need a little extra support, our scope of business advisory services may be just what you need. Send us an email to discuss our one-on-one consulting and business advisory services, where we'll work with you one-on-one to solve specific problems in your coffee business. All our services come with a 100% money-back guarantee. So send us an email at support@mapperforward.org and let us know how we can help you today. Welcome to the Mapper Forward Middle East podcast, friends. I'm your host, Lee Safar, and this is episode 1 of a brand new 5-part series, a podcast series that I am crazy excited for. I get excited for all the podcast series. This one is the one I have been most excited for all year. So welcome. I'm really thrilled to welcome to the podcast Purity Wangare, Sai On, and Ran Gurung from Raw Coffee Company. Guys, welcome to the podcast for the very first time. It's a pleasure to have you.
Thank you.
Thanks for having us as well.
We are talking about how a coffee career in the Middle East changed my life. To give everyone out there that's listening some context, these three work for a company that I have a huge amount of respect for. Matt and Kim from Raw Coffee, the founders, came on the podcast, and on the Middle East podcast, they've both been on the global podcast, and they are the OG, the original specialty coffee shop in all of the Middle East. And what they have built over 17 years, is it 18 years now or 17 years? 18 years.
18.
Over 18 years is remarkable. They have a team, and I've worked with this team doing a few consulting kind of workshops and stuff like that. I have had the deep pleasure to work with these guys and get an insight into the way that they look at their careers. And in a world where the only way that baristas and coffee professionals can get recognized is through competitions, I want to make more of an effort to bring coffee professionals that I admire onto the podcast so that they can start sharing their knowledge. And this is where we're starting. So it is a deep privilege for me, guys, to have you on the podcast. Thank you for carving time out of your day to be here. In this episode, we're going to be talking about why coffee. Now, in the Middle East, people come from all over the world to come and work in coffee here. You guys have done that, and you have very interesting stories, the three of you. You've come from 3 different backgrounds. And how I'd like to start this conversation is if you could introduce yourselves and talk a little bit about your journey into coffee here in the Middle East. And I'll start with you, Purity.
Okay. Funny fact is, I actually didn't plan to move to coffee when I initially moved to Dubai. It was not my plan.
Really?
Because, I have a degree in culinary arts. So by profession, kitchen is my place. So I studied to be a chef. But, and that is what I pursued back home. And I worked in a few 5-star companies as I was studying in school. And I knew that is the path I will take when I moved to Dubai. And I had a soft landing because I already had family here. So my aunt, my elder brother, and my uncle were already living here. And both my brother and my uncle were in hospitality. So naturally, that is the route I thought I would take. And they worked in nice places, 5-star and a 7-star hotel. So I knew for sure the Dubai dream, everything is posh, everything is glitters. And my aunt worked in Victoria's Secret. So when I saw where they worked, naturally, I thought that is where I will end up. So as I did my interviews when I moved to Dubai, I did many places. In 2015, I would say the job market was really good. So there were plenty of opportunities compared to now. So I did a couple of interviews. But when I walked to Raw Coffee, it was very different. It was a very different vibe. It was very chilled. It was very down to earth. It was not the glitter. It was not the posh. There was no fake smile. So that stuck with me. And I feel like actually I didn't choose coffee. I feel like coffee chose me. And
Wow.
that is how I ended up in coffee industry.
And what do you do at Raw now?
I started off actually as a waitress.
Uh-huh.
And I pushed myself. I stayed hungry, to be honest. I would view myself as I don't like to settle, and I feel like I'm quite ambitious sometimes. So I moved from being a waitress to being a barista, and then I actually started enjoying training, so which I've done for many years. And now I have moved to a different role. So now I handle customer service. So I'm the customer service experience manager at Raw.
Recently promoted, I will say. I wanted to congratulations, Purity. Well done.
Thank you so much.
My pleasure. And Ron, how about you? How did you get into coffee? Where are you from, first of all? Purity, I didn't ask you that. Where are you from?
I'm originally from Kenya.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And Ron, what about you? Where are you originally from?
So I'm from Nepal. So a small country. I'm from Nepal. A small country from the top of the world. Yeah. For me, it was the coffee hits me when I was in college. I would say. So we used to have a gathering in the morning all the time in the cafe. I can see people going there who is going to the offices. They have to have a coffee before going to work. So I love the gathering they had there. So I want to know more about coffee. So after my college, I did a training course, like a basic training coffee course back in Nepal. So that time, at that moment, I saw a big gap in coffee demand and supply. And the I think coffee is still growing. Back then, we didn't have that much of knowledge about coffee. Uh, so I really like the story behind the coffee, how it grows, how we serve the coffee at the cafe. So it hits me. So I want to do something in coffee industry. So I came here. Luckily, I think I chose the right decision to come here and pursue a career in a coffee industry, because I think UAE. I think I came around. It was around like 10 years back when I came here.
Yeah.
So in these 10 years, I've seen a lot. The growth. It was like from here, like it was nothing when I came here, right? So you can see the growth now after 10 years. It's a big
Transformation?
big jump, big transformations. And still, like there is still a lot more to do in coffee.
Yes.
That excites me.
Yeah. So when you came into it, what was your first job? Did you start working at Raw first, or did you work at other places?
It's my first job. Yeah. I'm still here with Raw.
That's amazing. And what did you first, what part of Raw do you work in now? And did you start there?
Yes. So I joined Raw as a junior packaging assistant, and then now I'm a roaster. Drinking lots of coffee every day.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah.
And now you're are you heading up the roasting team?
Yes. I take care of the roastery and the coffee qualities. So yeah.
Amazing. And what about you, On?
All right. So I'm like Purity as well, actually. I've never dreamed of working in the coffee industry. If you ask myself 5 years back.
Really?
Yeah. So I'm originally from Myanmar. So I literally grew up in tea culture, actually. You know,
In tea
Or-
culture.
yeah. So it's tea shop culture. So I mean, funny thing about it is like it's really big market there in Myanmar as a tea shop. You know,
Yeah.
I just want to like share some information about tea as well. Uh, with only three ingredients, which is black tea,
Yeah.
condensed milk, and evaporated milk,
Yeah.
you can make around like 15 to 16 menu out of
Yeah.
it.
100%.
Yeah. So whatever, like, so we go to the tea shop like every day ritual,
Mhm.
you know, and the only coffee that I know is like instant coffee. Back
Which is
then.
wild because the coffee that's grown in Myanmar
Yes,
is
yes,
incredible.
yeah, yes.
Incredible.
But there are some like few people doing that time as well. But how can I say, like, nobody sees as a market like that. So
Right.
somehow, like just right before COVID, I get a chance to work with like a film crew. So basically, I have a background of this photography and like filmmaking things. So right before COVID, which is around 2019, got a chance to work with film crew from Thailand. So as we all know, Thailand, it has a big coffee culture.
Okay.
Oh, so they visited Myanmar to do some film, and I was a trainee there. And a funny thing is, they bring their own espresso machine just to do location scouting. Yeah,
Wow.
yeah, and they started to drinking like specialty coffees since back then. But somehow, like they couldn't find the beans, like easily in Myanmar. But like I say, there's some few people doing, and like what I learned is like they drink coffee as a ritual, you know.
Okay.
So every morning before we start this, the routine or whatever the work, they go to the coffee shop, and I mean with their own espresso machine,
Yeah.
and then take the beans from the coffee shop, and then enjoy the coffee like
Together.
yeah together before any work. And by that time, I'm only drinking, any sweet coffee because I have
Right.
zero knowledge about coffee. And yeah, I mean, when they left, that ritual of making coffee stayed with me. And and then the COVID hit, I got nothing to
Lean
do.
into the microphone for me.
Sorry.
That's okay.
Yeah. And then that COVID hit, and I got nothing to do. But that coffee ritual, I bought myself a 360 set,
Okay.
and started to do, like brews every morning as a daily meditation, Yeah, I got to learn from YouTube and all this stuff. And also I commit myself to get this course from Barista Hustle,
Okay.
things. And like later on, I found out that there are some limits staying in Myanmar and learn these things,
Okay.
because it's not very accessible to buy the beans and try the beans from different origins and stuff,
Okay.
and because nobody drinking it.
Mm-hmm.
It's not, yeah, because it's the tea culture, as I said. And then like just one morning is something just click and I told myself I gotta get out of this country
Okay.
because things happen back home like this stuff as well. So I started to find like some opportunities.
Okay.
And first, I was thinking about going to Thailand, but there was COVID and some rules to get to that country. And but that time UAE was the easiest to come. Yeah, since then. And then I was like, okay, I decided to come to UAE, and what am I gonna do next? Okay, I'm gonna learn coffee. So I was like, rather than finding a job, I was finding a place where I can learn coffee. So, and then this part is coming up. Shout out to Filter Magazine. Do you know
Okay.
Filter by Andy? So I was like scrolling through Instagram and I found Raw through his page.
Okay.
Click the raw Instagram and like it was like love at first sight.
I love it.
Yeah, people, the energy, I can feel it, right? So
Yeah.
okay, this place. And then I did further research about raw, and then found out that Kim and Matt has already visited to Myanmar to do their origin.
Sourcing. Right.
Yeah. So okay, this is the one. And at the same morning, I write the whole letter, like a cover letter, but it's more about telling my stories. Like I want to learn coffee. It's not like a job application. It's more about saying that I want to learn coffee. I want to learn about the industry, and I want to contribute to my country with this coffee things one day if I get a chance. And I sent email to Kim, and the next day she replied, and we just jumped on a Zoom call, and I got hired, like from Myanmar.
She's pretty special, isn't she?
Yeah, so it just like click,
Yeah.
And it was back 4 years back. And funny thing is, I think yesterday was the day I got the offer letter.
No way. 4 years since then.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes.
Excuse me. Do you guys, when you first started in coffee, could you imagine this many years later? Is this where you thought you'd end up?
Never.
Really?
Yeah.
Like you can see Ron is having like a whole movie happening in his head, thinking about that.
I'm picturing myself.
Tell me what you thought it would be like compared to what it is like in coffee.
Yes, sir. Yeah. So, okay, to continue my story, I started as a junior waiter when I and then slowly I grew as a barista, and now I'm working as a visual storyteller, helping the marketing of raw, like storytelling and stuff. And like during this 4 years, like as a barista, as a visual storyteller, like I can see that coffee industry is like, changing in a fast pace. It's very evolving. Like I mean, you evolve very fast, and you can see like new coffees like every other day, new machines, new like everything, cafes and stuff. But there's one thing that's never changed, which is like I think human connection.
Yeah.
Yeah. So and I think that's one of the reasons why I'm still in this coffee industry, rather than chasing this like the nicest things or whatever. I mean, it's good, but over time, I think I changed my perspective a little bit, and then, that's one of the most big thing for me, which is like human connection over coffee. Yeah.
I agree with you on that. For me, it was the same experience. For me, it was like a drug, being on bar every day, connecting with people, having conversations with them, seeing their reaction to receiving a coffee that just made them so happy.
Yeah.
And then like them coming back of all of the cafes they could choose to, and they walk past many, many cafes. They were excited about coming to the espresso machine that I was working at. And we built this connection that, I worked as a barista by choice. I was offered very many jobs and people tried to fund businesses and stuff like that. I didn't want to. I loved the hospitality element of being a barista. I think it's the best job I've ever had. And I've worked in a couple of different industries. And what really blew my mind about coffee, I couldn't believe after being in the corporate world that I was getting paid to make coffee and socialize with people.
Yeah.
I couldn't believe that you get paid to do something like that. And it's such a gift in such a disconnected world that this is the thing in a neighborhood that brings people together. How about you, Purity and Ron? Where did you guys see this going instead of where it's ended up?
I actually thought by now I'll be back home because
Wow.
moving here was specifically to get knowledge and build some capital, because like any other person who moves to Dubai, you're looking for greener pastures. So I really never expected I'll stay a decade later and I'm still here.
Wow.
So yeah. So initially, when I moved and I started working in coffee, it was just mind blowing. I didn't even know what a flat white was at all. I was never into coffee completely. But the more you start learning, the more you interact with people from different walks of life, then you just keep staying because fall in love with the process. You fall in love with the people. You fall in love with how a small beverage can create magic, can spark conversations that literally changes your life. I started off very young and now I'm a mom as well. So
wow,
it is rewarding if you can. The industry has given back because it has given me the flexibility of not only growing a career, but at the same time being able to grow a family. So
wow.
I didn't expect I would be able to do that in this part of the world.
That's really inspiring. What about you, Ron? Where did you think you'd be this many years later?
So when I decided to come here in UAE, so my plan was to come here just to learn.
Yeah.
And go back in 4 years' time.
Oh, really?
So I'm here for more than 8 years now, almost, yeah. So the thing is the learning part again, like it's never ending, right? So I really want to take myself, what I'm learning right now, back to my country. Because still, like, we are a small market, but still there is a huge gap in between demand and the supply. I really like first of all is like, I really like the culture, the coffee cultures, where it starts from, the farm. So it's actually connecting people, like from farm, logistics, supply chain to cafes, and it's supposed to the customers, right? So it's like connecting the world. It's connecting the people, basically. So I really like that way of thinking, and how we are supporting the sustainability, the biodiversity, which is very important right now, I think, for the world. We are going through lots of
challenges. Yeah.
So that's the main thing, I think, right now, to take my learning back to Nepal, and to do something back home.
Amazing. So we're going to wrap up this episode, guys. And in the next episode, we're going to talk about what it's like being a coffee professional in the Middle East. And it is different. So we are going to explore that in the next episode. So join us for that. Peace, love, and peanut butter. Have an amazing rest of your day. This episode is part of a 5-part series produced by Mapper Forward. Check the full playlist and guest details in the show notes, as well as how you can support our work in the coffee industry. Become a premium YouTube subscriber, explore our Patreon and any brands we've partnered with to bring you this podcast. Please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. It really does help us grow our audience.